Welcome back to Fast Market here on the Schwab Network. It's time for cash tags. For that, let's bring in our next guest. That's going to be Landon Swan. He's a co-founder of LikeFolio. Welcome back to the show, Landon.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
All right. So Doordash, I was just talking with my producer. I was like, I don't know if I dislike Doordash, the stock. I just dislike using it when you see all the fees that are coming on your bill. But at the same time, you can't discount the fact that this stock's up over 50% this year, near all-time highs going into the earnings report. What kind of data? Do you have the data that supports this move?
Tom, as a contrarian, you guys all know I am as well. I would like nothing more than to come on and say, hey, this stock's basically at all-time highs, and it shouldn't be, and let's short the heck out of it. Unfortunately, that's not the case. They are crushing it in every regard, and the data looks very strong. To be frank with you, you look at their quarter one, their revenue's up 21%, their orders are up 18%. They've crossed $3 billion in orders. They're doing extremely well. They've got 42 million monthly active users, and now that's going to go up to close to 50 with this new acquisition. Of Deliveroo. They're very aggressive in the way they run their company. Right now, it's through M&A that they're being very aggressive. So they're acquiring that Deliveroo for just under $4 billion. That's going to add 7 million users, add about 176,000 locations. And so they're going to actually add more countries as well, go from, I think, 36 to 45, somewhere in there. Now, they're paying a lot. It's a kind of a high premium, and they're also, they're buying 7 rooms for over $1 billion in cash, which is more of hospitality software. They're buying, what's the advertising one for, I think, 175 million. They're just buying up people. They're expanding what they do. They've got the best platform. Recent surveys showed that, of course, close to 3/4 of people who use services use Doordash, and the next closest was Uber Eats at about 50%. So, they are the clear dominant leader in this space, and they're doing very well. And now they've just kind of discovered that ads can make them money. They got $1 billion in ads revenue in 2024. Those are much higher margins. And they've got partnerships with The Trade Desk, another company that we love. And so they're basically just attacking every single angle and being very aggressive and diversifying all of their sources of revenue. So unfortunately, I think they should be at all-time highs. I don't know how much room there is on this particular earnings report, because everybody, I think, is expecting a good report. I am as well. I think that they're going to put out good numbers. You can see our data here is pretty strong. The web visits, which are obviously very important for this company, are at all-time highs. The stock is as well. And so I don't know if they're going to put out great numbers and surge on an earnings report, because I think everybody's expecting that. I would be very surprised if they came out with bad numbers, and I think they'd get punished for it. I just don't think that's going to happen based on the data that we've got. Now, as far as a trading perspective, we're leaning bullish, but mostly neutral, because it's just priced right. I wish they would sell off a little bit going into this, but I don't think that's going to happen. But the data is strong enough to justify where they're at. Unfortunately for us contrarians, it's just there's just not a huge opportunity to the downside based on the data anyway.
Landon, it's hard to argue with the growth of this business. Their revenue, their order growth, all doing extremely well. The question is, they're making some assumptions. The bar is extremely high. They have successes already in the stock that this company hasn't achieved yet. $108 billion valuation is a bit rich. Price to sales, 10 times, also a bit rich. So you're right. This story is a good story. And Doordash just keeps getting more and more people. It's like crypto right now, which means the more adaption going on, more and more people are getting used to ordering food like this. But the valuation maybe has created a bar so high that it'll be very hard for them to put up numbers big enough to overcome this incredible run that this stock has had. The chart is ridiculous, We've seen higher, though. We've seen higher, Landon. Can they put up the numbers and the growth to sustain the move in the underlying, Landon?
Right. I mean, this had to have been a very fun year and a half for DoorDash investors. Just, constantly up. And you're just making new highs and, making new annual highs. So that's the question. Can they beat? And on this earnings report, I don't know. I mean, I would be surprised if they surged on this report. I'd be surprised if they tank. I think that they're going to kind of go a little sideways, and it's business as usual. Like, yeah, we're hitting all these really high expectations. One day they may not. I don't think it's this quarter. The data that we've got doesn't say that it's this quarter. But moving forward, long term, I can see why people want to own this stock. I mean, they have, they're diversifying. It's not just food delivery. They've got grocery, they've got retail, they're getting into hospitality. They're kind of discovering all the revenue that can come from ads. They've got extremely aggressive expansion and M&A activity. They're buying up locations basically by acquisition. They've got a very strong subscription and loyalty base. They're doing great with partnerships. And then, one thing that people don't really talk about is, and we do with Uber Eats, but one day there's going to be a bunch of self-driving cars out there, and that's gonna change their monetary, their whole dynamic significantly, obviously to the upside. So I really like the way that they're operating. I mean, they're playing this like it's a video game, and they're just going all in on every move that they do. And so far it's working, and that's why the stock is so high. Again, it might eventually, one of these quarters, they're going to miss expectations, but that could be the stock selling from 350 down to 300, right? I mean, we're at 260 right now, so it might make that run and then pull back to higher than we are now. So it's kind of like real estate. Everybody's waiting for the bubble, and it might crash 20%, but the end result might be higher than what you're at now. Because it's just going to keep running until then. So it's not for the faint of heart to hold a company like this with these kind of valuations. But until we see a crack in the strategy or in the numbers, it seems like a good hold from here. And on this earnings report, there may be an opportunity to sell some premium on this earnings report just because the expectations are high, but I think the numbers are going to come in strong. And I think everybody's just going to be like, all right, that's kind of what we expected. That's my guess going into this earnings report, but I can't wait to see how you guys end up playing this one.
Real quick here, Landon, competition, are they taking market share from Uber Eats and others in this space?
They are, even though they're the largest. So, I mean, if you would have asked me a year ago, I think that their numbers were around 67% of what we call mind share with our data, and now they're in the low 70s. So even though they're the dominant player, a lot of times we talk about the dominant player getting, their heels nipped at by the competition and slowly eating away at them. That's not the case. They're growing and they're taking away market share. And it's kind of like that network effect that, Kevin, you talked about with crypto or other networks. Is as it gets bigger and bigger, it's sort of exponential in a way in that everyone's starting to use them. They can have better economies of scale, more restaurants, better pricing, better deals, better ads. Everything just starts to work better and better and better, expanding their lead on everyone.
All right. Data supports the moves that we've seen. Good stuff as always, Landon. Appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. That's Landon Swan. He's a co-founder of LikeFolio, breaking it down for us. I don't know, Kev. I look at this bar is pretty high, and the RSI is only about 65,